fellow Inkscapers. My name is István and I am a graphic designer who is using most of the time Inkscape, which is an amazing free program, and this time I will create with it a character I was thinking about, which is a Mongolian eagle hunter. I didn't come up with this character myself. I mean, the challenge is there, set by the Character Design Challenge group in Facebook. I will put the link in the description. It's an awesome challenge. Every month, these guys are figuring out something extreme, like, I don't know, cat ninjas and Vikings and whatever. There were a lot of things, and now is the Mongolian eagle hunter. And people have to draw. And you can draw till the end of the month, so you still have like 2 weeks in August to draw. And you can draw whatever you want in this topic. You only have to draw a character and no backgrounds or very minimal background, and the challenge is running for a month and open to everyone. So if you are just a beginner, you are welcome. If you are a senior designer, you are welcome. If you are a character designer for Pixar, you are also welcome. There are so many great talented artists there. Just go on Facebook and check out character design just to check out what other people are producing. My Facebook wall is now full with other people's characters. Okay, so what I will do now, I'm usually, when I'm drawing live in Inkscape like now, I am not using any sketches. I just have something in my head and that's it. But with this character I had a special idea, creating a Mongolian in a furry coat and boots, but having a right arm which is actually like a robotic arm, and so he can support a giant robot with his exoskeleton or robot arm. He can support the weight of a giant robot eagle. So why I do this challenge? Because I think it's out of the ordinary, and I like to think more on the designs on what I do. And why I do this to myself, I force myself to draw robots here and robots arm, because I am very shitty at robots and mechanical things and guns. I'm not this type of science fiction artist. I am very good at drawing cute stuff like bunnies and stuff, and that's it. So I'm forcing myself and challenging myself. So I'm doing my own challenge inside the challenge. And this is what I say to you, this is what you should also look for. So I'm usually not using sketches, but this time I made this, and as you see, it's very, very, very low quality. I just put down the pencil and I took a photo with my phone, and that's it. I just copy pasted it in Inkscape. I just sent this to me in Messenger and then copy and paste. So very low quality, because for me a sketch is never a finished way of art. It's never something like a absolutely polished piece of art. It's not about that. A sketch is more, a sketch is a sketch. I turn off the snapping because I hate it when I freeform and it's snapping. So a sketch is just a sketch. It's not finished. It doesn't supposed to be finished. So it's just there to give you ideas and not to finalize the work. So what I do, I'm drawing now just using the line tool, the Bezier tool, and just click around without any further thinking, and I'm just roughly following the edge of my sketch. And I'm drawing the hand, this robotic hand. So what I usually do, I pick any color I like and I make this thing semi-transparent, let's say 50. So I see what I did draw over and what I did not already. Okay, this shape I actually like. It doesn't matter if it's not absolutely perfect, because I will come back to it later, of course, and I will modify it. That's why it is vector. So now I'm just getting the rough shapes out. I don't care about the overlaps because this will be covering each other, of course. That's the biceps kind of thing, and this is the shoulder muscle, or supposed to be a shoulder muscle. It's more of a, yeah, it's just something to support, like there can be an engine behind it or something. Okay, so this is my arm, and I start with this because I don't know the proportions of the character more or less, and this is the most interesting part for me, so that's why. Now I'm holding the control key, so I can do nice 45 degrees and horizontal lines. So I'm doing something like see, something like this. So there is like wires or circuits actually coming out of the robotic parts. Okay, I bend them here and there a bit to make way and to make this muscle show up more. Okay, I'm thinking something like anime arm or something like Iron Man. You know, we are watching so much science fiction and stuff like this lately that we are very accustomed to these robotic things. Or what was the best one with giant robots in movies is the Pacific Rim, for example. So those are my inspiration, and when I'm drawing I start with a sketch and then I'm looking for inspiration. So what I did now, also my inspiration here is a bit like Bane, so I'm putting here these sticks, and like Bane in the DC comics, like, you know, he has this kind of vials of venom sticking out of his back, so I'm thinking something like that. So let's give this guy, I duplicated this with Ctrl D, and I just look around if I can make it smaller and make it like it's actually a part, like big screws are sticking out or something. So I have this shape more or less, and actually now that I'm talking, researching, so I didn't just look up robotic arms and robots, photos about automation, you know, the robots which are making cars, but I also was looking up how actually these Mongolian eagle hunters are looking, because I know a guy here in Budapest who is actually with, he has an animal enthusiast, and he has falcons, and he's doing falconeering, and he has falcons and eagles. And I met him once in the park, and he was sitting, this huge bird was sitting on his forearm, and I was thinking, are they always sitting on the forearm, or are they grabbing the wrist? And then I was looking up, and there are some pictures where people are holding their arms horizontally, so the eagle is sitting on the forearm, while sometimes people hold their hands up, so when they let the eagle go or let the eagle catch on and land, and the eagle is grabbing almost the wrist. So I'm grouping up the robotic arm. This is how it looks now. If you're familiar with my style of drawing, then you might know that I'm not using much of layers. Not that they are useless. I like layers, they are good for different things, but for what I do, I like groups better. So I just select a bunch of objects, and yeah, and I just group them together rather than using different layers. So this is the outer edge of the wing. Let's give it a different color because this is my robot eagle. Let's make some feathers. So I just make a square, I go to path, object to path, or shift Ctrl C, this is what I always use. I select these two nodes here on the top and click this one, this plus sign. And this is giving one in the middle. And now I just push these two together. And this is what I have in mind for the wing. Also, if you recognize it, if you're following any of my courses or other tutorial, what did we do here? We basically created a simple sword. But this time this is not a sword. This is a nice feather. So what I do, I just duplicate the exact same feather, modify it, make it smaller, make it bigger. Open it up a bit. Okay, and this part I will just open up. Okay. As you see, I added some extra edges here and there, and also in my drawing there are some random polygons flying around, just to make this more cartoony, anime, and also give it a sense of movement. I put here something like a rotator, like an axis here on the shoulder. And what I do now here, I can also give an axis here, a big one. Actually I did something wrong, because this part can be less bendy and then this part can be upper. Good. So it seems like I broke it a bit, but I don't want to. Good. Okay, nice. And this one can be here. And what I do now, I do the same as I did before. I group it up with Ctrl G. I duplicate it with Ctrl D. As you see, it's double. And I flip it with H. This way I am sure that this one will have as much elements as the previous one. Now I want this wing to be big. So I make it a bit bigger even. I want this one be a bit smaller, and I want it a bit squished, because how to say, perspectively this is closer and bigger than this one, so I just squish it a bit like this and make it smaller also. Okay, but they are still in the same. So if I would draw the perspective lines, I want to draw something like this. Okay, so this is my goal. Have this a bit bigger even. I could use a perspective distortion, but I'm not into that much. And what I do, and this is what I love in Inkscape, I will change it in a way that I duplicated it. Okay, I was lazy. Okay, I like to call it clever, but okay, I was lazy, yeah. But what I do, I am ruffling the feathers, and this is what I do in background design and in a lot of things. You see, I change things a bit so it is more random. It seems it's individually drawn, this part and this part as well, as in real life I just copied it and just modified it slightly, so I don't have to work that much, but it still looks random. This is what I really like. Okay, so I have the two wings now. If I push Ctrl 5, I can see what I drew so far. This is what I have so far. I love the outlines here. And again, so if you use Ctrl and 5 on the numeric keyboard, you can go View and Display Mode, and you can toggle. This is what I did, Ctrl 5, or you can just click here, Outline. But Ctrl 5, so much faster. So yes, and now I want to draw the head of the birdie. which will be like this. This is it. I know it looks like a parrot, but it's my bird. And I will give him a giant beak. And this part for the eyes. Now what I do, I want these two edges to match. So I duplicate this, select this one, and I go to Path, Intersection. And this edge is cut to this one, you see? Perfectly. This is what I do a lot of times actually. It's sparing me so much effort. Okay, so this is the eye. Just color it. Okay, I don't color it now. So this is my eagle, it will be behind the hand for sure, and what I miss is the talons, which will be clawing their way here. It actually accidentally closed the line for me, but I like it. Okay, and the same here. This will be behind, this will be out. Here will be another one, and the others are not visible, so I don't care. And I group up also this part. I will of course add more details later, but now I'm just grabbing, I try to get the shapes I like. So for example, I like it here, but this one I have to modify because the wing here is very much out of the body. So I cut it here as well. Like this. Okay. So again, this is what we have now, the robotic arm and the eagle. And let's see the character. As you see, I didn't put much effort into the head of the character. So I will now and the character will be something green. Whatever, I will color them, recolor them later. I just pick colors I like. Okay. I like it. I drew him with big fluffy hair. Like a few pieces of hair are out of the fur hat he's wearing. And he will have a fur hat like a Russian, I'm thinking like a Russian Ushanka hat. Do Russian call it like that? We call it Ushanka. I think it's a Russian word. I don't know what does it mean. Okay. This one I bend a bit. I'm just bending them with Control click easily. Okay, nice. This can be a bit smaller. The whole head can be a bit bigger. Nice. Okay, now I draw the fur coat or coat. Actually, I will keep this arm separated, so if I want to move it later. Okay. This will be the coat. This will be the edge of the coat. I will draw here a giant belt later on. And some big giant trousers. And the boots. As you see, I'm not very good with drawing the feet, but yeah, whatever, it's getting there. So never forget to save. So Control S, this is what I've always pushed. My left hand, I always say my left hand is always on the keyboard, my right hand is on the mouse. So I'm drawing with the mouse. If you listen carefully, you can hear the clicking. So what I have now, I duplicate this one, the whole thing, and I have all the several groups. I have a green group for the guy, I have the one for the arm, and 3 blue one for the birdie. Okay, I put everyone back together, and now I am adding the details and figuring out how to color them and how to make them. This one more metallic, the arm more metallic, and I want to make it modern, maybe steampunk, but I think I like more modern and clean look, like a military gadget. And this guy I want to keep clean and not clean, but like soft and fluffy with the different fur and the textiles, so he would look something from the old times, and the very soft and rugged look, and with all the clothes. And on the other hand, there is this very modern new arm and this very badass robot bird. So this was my aim, to create a contrast between the character, his arm, and the bird. Actually, the arm is something like the bridge between the two different things. Okay, so what I do usually is this. I just go into each group, double click to go into a group, Control A to have everyone, and then you just make the opacity to 100, so you can start coloring. And it actually works. So I am giving the wing a gray color. These little dots, I want to keep a darker color for sure. These ones on the edge and on the something like this, maybe a bit brighter. Good. And now the feathers, I will put them up here. I will color them the same way, I think. Yeah. But what I will do, I will give them gradients. So just linear gradients from here to here to make them interesting. And what if this guy and these all are on the top? Yeah. And the gradient, this one too. I pick the same exact gradient. With this gradient, I'm lazy, I don't draw all the little parts, but I don't want to spend more than an hour on this drawing now. So, just picking the gradients, so I don't have to draw all the parts where is the origin of these, why is this transparent? So where is the origin of these feathers? I just make them gradient and make them look like they're coming out of the darkness of this wing, or what is under the wing. Also, this one gets a gradient from this gray to no. So this gray. Oh no, bad idea. So this one to a darker one. Just make some order here. They can also overlap. Page down, I send it behind the other blade. And I like this little cut here, so I want to show it. Make it smaller and put it here. Okay, it's getting together. Almost like I wanted, but we will see. And now we apply the same thing here. Maybe I was stupid to duplicate the wing already, but it's a bit of extra work. But now I have the shape and everything. Now I really just have to recolor it. So what I do, I go into this group, select everyone again, make the opacity 100, and just pick the colors. Pick the colors from the other wing. Yeah, these ones are gray. This one is a gradient, which is this dark gradient, and it goes from here to here. About, yeah. Send it to the back. And these ones are again gradients, but with 1176. I have only 2 gradients here, so it's not a big challenge, but when you have like 20, it's very good to have the number of the gradient, so you can apply the exact same gradient here and here. So this is what I do. Everyone gets the same gradient. And now we play with that gradient, so it's actually aligned with the feather. Okay, and now these guys again come to the top. What I see here is that this is very visible, so I have to still pull back my gradient as I did on the other side, so the edges of my feathers are not that visible. So it looks quite robotic. Again, opacity 200. Let's figure out this body, because I can use the wings or something like a medium color. This one for sure a bit darker, so he is something like this, yeah. So it is like a, how to say, like a wedge to accommodate the eyes, and this one is the eye. I like this color very much. Okay, these ones I can make pretty standing out. And now the beak, can be this bright again. No, because it has to stand out against this. What I can do is I will give them some edge. This is how I draw also edges of swords. I just do this. So I have now this one. Let's say if this is very light, like almost white. So I duplicate the original, select these two, and I go pop, intersection. And it's made like it's cut exactly on the edge. On this one I will do something different. I will give it a thickness, and I will draw that there is something inside the beak, that there is something darker inside. Good. Okay, something like this. This one I can get up here, and I only have to do the talons, which are okay for me now. Oh, what I didn't draw, which was very simple here, you see, is the tail of the bird. So this one will be behind the hand, this one will be behind this one. So actually you see I'm playing with the page up, page down keys on my keyboard to decide which when something is in front of something. And this one is again, so the hand is in the front, and then the wing, the bird, and the other wing. And this one is also, it will be in front of this wing. Okay. And what I missed again is the tail, but I will just steal some of the feathers. I duplicate with Ctrl D, make them smaller, make them bigger. I make a very small here. Okay, group this up as well, and with end I put it behind. So this is how it will be behind the hand. And actually I'm thinking to give these different gradient. So what I will do, I will make them darker, and I create a new gradient, a bit darker around there, but still the same light. Okay, this is 1360, and everyone gets 1360, but I don't have to play with the directions anymore because they are all set. A bit maybe here and there because it's, oh no, I have to because I flipped it. I could just flip the gradient with one click, but I also, yeah, I decided I play with the orientation. Nice. This one thinner, this one thinner as well. And this one to the back. Okay, so we have the bird. Group it up just for now for a second so you see. So this is what we have so far. And now into the arm. Opacity to 100. You two guys, why are you, I picked a different color probably. Anyhow, good. But I'm thinking if I want my bird white and shiny, as you already see on this white background, it will be really not visible. So what I can do is add a background color for the whole document. So I go to document properties, checkboard background, background color, yes, here it is, and I give a background color which is now absolutely transparent, but I can give a dark background color so I see what I do. No. So we have the fingers here, which can be one type of gray. What I'm aiming for is have a different gray than the gray of the bird, because the bird has this grayish. And what if I have a green color, which is green gray, so it's more military. I still gray even more. Yeah, I had a teacher in college who was always about colorful grays, and he gave us very hard exercises, and we hated the exercises, but then I realized colorful grays, yeah, they work. They kind of work. Okay, so just set everyone to this gray green I made. Okay, this one will be a bit darker. This one will be the same dark. And send the body back. Okay, you see here is a big gap, which I will just fill up, and that will be like very dark. It's like the black parts between the metallic parts on Robocop. I really like it. Those were the rubber parts when the actor could actually move, and they do this in a lot of movies, but with me it just gives a robotic feeling. Good. So I have these, and this is almost like a nice fist, this little guy, and I have some circular things here in the design, but I didn't draw them. So let's check back. How was it here? Yeah, one is standing like this, one like this. So again, I want to create these circular rotators or whatever, like I have it on my bird. One is here, and it's good if you know this is circular, and then this means that this is rotated, so you see it from the edge. So I want to give it something like a thickness. Okay, and then I do the same here on this arm. If it's this one, good, and the same. If it's a bit pushed, then this one can be as well here. So I just draw a square, and I push it out to the edge. So the more it is in the edge, the more I think it is showing me the front, but because now it's rotated, you see I pushed these two ellipses closer to each other. How it will look, I will give this a darker color, much darker, and these ones can be this brighter color, even brighter. Okay, and this one I pull down, and I give them a gradient from this to this, and the same here, gradient. Nice. And this one I will give a gradient, dark to dark. Same here. Actually, I can give them an edge. Page down, I put it down. Looks a bit like subwoofers, I know, but slightly move it. Slightly move it. Okay, nice. So we have the robotic arm. I just step in here and I make the guy also not transparent. And now I duplicate. I want to see how my drawing develops. It's so fun that we started from the sketch. I like to look back. I always duplicate. If you are not familiar with how I drawing, I always duplicate, and you should too. And I'm telling you why. Because until your machine can handle it, your computer can handle it, you can have as many duplicates as you want. And you can always go back to a previous state. So when you make a decision here, like, okay, how I want to draw the arm, what details I want to add, I can work, and if I don't like it, I don't have to remake everything I did or step back with the hundreds of Ctrl Z's, you know, like undos. I just go back to previous version. So this is for me like developers do with handling versions. I could make different save files, that's also amazing, that's even better, but I just like to watch them in the same playfield on the same desktop. So how I draw and how it develops. So we started from a sketch like this, and we gave the outlines, then we made the bird and the robotic arm more or less, and now we will add more details to the robotic arm and more details to the bird. And actually this is what I want to do. Give some shadows here and there. Let's go. Yeah, I'm in a good place. I just checked if I'm inside the group. And I'm just making a darker gray again. Greenish gray. I will use the same color here. Page down, put it under, good. That is nice. Let's do, if this is the top of the hand, then this is the bottom. This is where the yeah, and this, I do the same here to create the fist. I have to switch a lot of time to see what I did actually. Okay, and here as well. And this one is almost absolutely in darkness. If I switch back, this is here, this is here. And you see I'm already having a nice fist. It has already some nice darkness. Okay, same here. This one I have to work a bit. Okay, this one I will do the same. I will add some darkness here. Where is this bending? Maybe that's too much, we will see in a second. Yeah, it's too much. Good. And here the edge, I had to align it. So Control Star or Path intersection to make it dark. Nice. Now this one, the whole part will be black, or like actually dark. I duplicate this, cut it to the shape. This one I can make actually darker. Put it back, like it's a piece of metal hanging there. Okay. My rotator is behind. Good. And this one, the whole thing has to be what I want to do now is make this lighter, and I will add here a darker part, so it is actually darker here in the corner. Good. So I just want to do like this, and here I will do the same. I will give them nice gradient to make it more alive, and maybe on these few fingers too. It's much more 3D and alive now. Okay, what did I do with the robotic arm? How does it look? Is that this one, like the biceps thing, can have as well a darker part. Have to fit it here. Okay, and this one is the shoulder, which I will put in front. In front, absolutely. The U inside. Okay. For some reason this is in another group, or I don't know what. It didn't want to go above. Now we're talking. Wow, okay. Let's give the same gradient to these guys. Which one has this? This can be the same. So I applied just the same gradient everywhere, basically. All the dark parts. So it has a nice edge. Now just see that this finger is huge, so I make it a bit smaller. Put it behind the other one. Also, this finger then moves down a bit, and this one is getting bigger because this is the big middle finger we have. Okay, that's nicer. And this gradient can also be a bit darker here on the edge, just a bit, and this one's too can be dark like this. No, like this. Ah, yes, that's what I missed. Okay, so I have to work on the bird a bit more if I want to give the same shadows now like I did with the arm, because I really enjoyed the arm and it looks quite robotic in a way that it is, you know, it's fun, but it's also in a way that that it's interesting and robotic and edgy and like it looks like a bit like a sculpture, because you can, although the shadows are not perfect everywhere and everyone can argue with me that it's not good, István, and what it's doing, it's good enough for me and I really like it for the time being. Put some lines here to make it look like artificial muscle. And this guy, I have no clue what to do whatsoever, how dark it should be. So maybe this one just, oh no, maybe this one is the very dark black part, which just will have a bit of a shine. Not too shiny. Yeah, something like this. And this can be like really, really dark. Okay, I'm getting there, wherever there is, and this one just sent behind, these two. I like this shape. Okay, and this one I make bendy a bit, so I just grab it here Oh, those I can keep that clean. Look. And just, I really want some lights here. Just make them super bright, and that's the edge. Just here and there. Okay, something like this. So this is the arm. For some weird reason these guys are not coming with it. Please come. Okay, so this is the arm now, and you see some parts are missing out still again, like this. Okay, made of steel. What I have to do is add some darkness also here under the wing of the bird. If I want to be the same good as I was with the arm, so I just darken it down. So heavy to make it a bit darker. Yeah. Okay. Okay, something like this. And also here on the bird I will add some darkness, so it has some thickness as well. I go path, intersection, and it can be lighter, something like this. Yeah. Just thinking how to do this, because I'm so satisfied with these guys. Hey, where is my little rotator here? Here we are. So I'm so satisfied with these guys. This one seems very lame compared to it. I definitely will add some shadowy parts here as well. $21.62 pitch. Almost there, we will figure it out. I like the robot arm too much, that's my problem. What if this talon is in front? Take it out and put it here. And all of them can be up actually. And I do the same trick I did here, I give them some brightness, so there is some edge. I would absolutely watch this cartoon. I would have watched it like when I was a kid. Group these guys up. Control G. Okay, starts to look there. I would add a lot more details on the wings, but I am getting very tired to recording this and explaining it in English. So I hope you have fun so far. And if you want to learn more from me, I will put some of the links under the description here on the video, because I am, teaching as well, not just on YouTube but on my own channel. So you can check out my character design course now, or my latest course, which is about game background design. So if you are a developer, want to make your own games like I do, then you can learn from me how to create nice, fast, beautiful backgrounds in Inkscape, which is a free program. Okay, so get back to our character. I'm using the control button and control clicking these nodes here and there. Why am I doing that? That is making the curves, making the edges into curves. And this is great for us, because this way our character, we have a great contrast against the, okay, this is two like bubble hands. So the character will have a good contrast against the hawk or eagle, or what is it? So the robot bird and the robot arm, they are so edgy, while our character has, I remove this, our character has more, human-like fluffy features. Okay, that's the glove for you. Perfect. So it's not magicking here, I'm just control clicking like a madman on some of the edges, not all of them, but on some of them. Now here as well, because I really like how this goes. And a bit here also on the boots. So you see the character has more curved edges. Okay. Same goes for the anime hair. And now let's color this guy a bit. So I think the hair has to be like very, very dark. This one can be a light green or whatever, brownish. For the dresses I have to have something like this, opacity to the max. So something, yeah, brown or something. Face, something like this. Maybe this one can be absolutely brown. Okay, now this is the torso. It can be can be dark green, and this one can be brown as well. If this is brown, then this is browner. Now I mean it's a dark brown because I will send it behind in a second. So I just pushed end, sent it behind. This is still part of the clothes of the, what is it, coat, and these one are trousers, so they can be different color. They can be light blue or whatever. Okay, and the boots again, it can be brown. So this is what we have so far. And as you can see, I have one big issue. I like the robot arm and everything is standing out, but the clothes of the character is absolute rubbish in color because they are not standing out against the dark background. So if you are operating with something very bright and something very dark, you need a background to set it up. But now I just want to give the background as simple and homogenic as I can. So let's get rid of this brown, get him some lighter browns. Okay, same with the hat. Okay, and this fur coat can be a bit more alive. Okay, nicer. So from this went for this, and now we are here. We are getting better at shading this. I still feel this is very empty compared to the robotic arm. We will see. I might just leave it like that. I have a concern now about the face. Let's just make it better. And I'm just drawing him a guy who is laughing. So he has some thick high eyebrows. I'm just duplicating it and rotating it so they align. Make this one bigger. Pull this one higher so he's actually laughing. And this one I close them a bit. Good. Now the nose can be just a darker shadow, which I really like to do because I like negative space when I'm creating logos and some graphics. I like to have negative space in them. So you see this is like, looks like a weird mouth as well, but it's also like shadow on the face, and I want to make him smile. I'm not sure about this. it's good for now. I will come back to him. Okay, the dress again, like everything else, can be interesting. What is very interesting for me is how the dress is combined with the robotic arm. So if I say that here is the coat, and then it can be like this. So this is like a dark part between the edge between the two parts of the coat. So here will be some buttons holding it up. And here is a big belt, or actually I like to draw more. So the belt is not just going around once but twice. Okay, something like this. This one can be darker as well, actually. Okay, and now I'm giving also the brighter parts here on the dress. Continue this shape. So this is what we have so far. The face, it's really definitely needs to work on. But now that I zoom out, I see a few things. First of all, this finger looks weird. Second of all, there is not enough contrast between the bird and the electrical mechanical arm. So or I make the bird darker, brighter, which is like almost impossible because it's white, or very light gray. If I delete this, then it's too empty, so I'm not sure. Or I make this whole arm darker. But before that, just move it in a bit. So you see, it's absolutely good. It's absolutely okay to have mistakes. I always do mistakes and I try to avoid them. I try to make them better, and the work is never finished. So it's, you don't finish, you just stop, they say. But honestly, you just keep on working, and then at one point you are done, and you are always making things better. So I made this shorter. This was a mistake here. Nice. So I think it looks better this way. Maybe a bit back. Not so much, but a bit. Okay, like this. And the other thing I want to do is to add some, yeah, I have to make the arm darker. So I'm thinking to make it this dark, but then what to make with the background color, because so far so good, they look so nice together. So what can I do? Experiment. Or I make the whole birdie darker, like this, and then here inside something very dark. As you see, this one was also changing because it's the same gradient. I applied the same. So if it's like this, it's much darker. What if I make the base color of this one? Yeah, better than this way. So I will make this base color like this, and so this one, so the dark part has to go darker as well. Oh, too dark, too dark, too dark. Okay, and this one has to be very dark because this is like the inside of the beak. This one can be a bit brighter. Okay, nice. So you see, if that is coming darker, then this one has to be also very dark, like something like this. Yeah. So there is a nice contrast and it's visible. It's not part of the hand. Okay, and let's see what I can do with this one. So it's the same gradient. What if I make it that the inside is looking like this and the outside, so this one is being darker and this one. Nice. So you see, if I'm using gradients, it's easier to change the whole color of this, because I'm using the same gradient, so it's easier to changing the whole color of something. These have the different gradient. I don't know why. I will apply the same here. Because I wanted to make them darker again. So for these I will just give this gradient. Okay, and I just rotate it as I did before. So I'm just because I modified the gradients. Sadly I lost this one too, so the previous version Recolor 2. That's, in a way it's good, it's easy, in a way it's bad, because I said I love to have the previous versions as well. So what if I decide that this is not good? It's easier to go back. But now I did it, so well. So the white parts, or bright, very bright parts, has to be darker as well to make it look like a robot. Something like, yeah, this bright. Oh, it looks quite metallic. Let's see how much this is inside. And this one I will make dark. Good. like this. I do the same trick here. And now I give it a gradient. Again. So I make it darker here on the back, and I make this one brighter here on the back. I want it to be a bit brighter. Not much, but a bit. Okay, and this one can be, that's coming from here too. Okay. Looks fine now. So it looks, you see, if I zoom out, I can see when I'm designing, I'm zooming in and out all the time. And when I'm zoom out now, there is a nicer, much nicer contrast here between the bird and the actual, was it the bird hunter? I'm just thinking, do I need these? Or may I make them the same subwoofer like things? Oh no, I leave them. Should I? No, I delete them, and I make these ones a bit bigger as well. Nice. So they look a bit like the, I don't know, little engines or whatnot here. I make this very white and standing out. So even now on the darker background, everything has a contrast. And now I can work on my little dude. With these ones I'm quite happy, I'm satisfied. Could have been more movement, little details. I'm just thinking, you know, like add more little triangles to imitate movement, like in comics and cartoon, just to make the robot a bit more falling apart, or I don't know, like there is actually something happening. I don't know, targeting system drone in or something like that. So that's it. So the robot arm and the bird is awesome. This part I'm really satisfied with. It's strong. Now I have to work with my guy whose posture is not quite right, because now that I zoom in as well, zoom out as well, I see that this arm is like mega long, mega short. So this I will pull down there, or actually draw a lower arm. Make it the same color. Good. Okay, this leg I can make a bit smaller and upper. Open it up. Oh, I see a mistake here as well. Just want to fill up the gap like I did here on the wrist. So I picked the same dark greenish. Good. And that's like filling it up nicely. Starts to look okay. And I have to play with these belts. Okay, this ankle is seriously off. See, I'm trying to play with the posture, but he seems like he has a tiny leg just hanging outside. So this is my fault because I didn't work on the posture properly. Okay, a bit better. Now this one I have to think about. How would I do it? Or is it supporting what I wanted to do? Because what I wanted to do with this one is to select all the dots and make them curves here with this. So this makes it very nice and wavy around here. So you don't have to be afraid of using straight lines, because you can make them curvy, all of them, as one click. Okay. Nice. Do the same here. Select all of them with Ctrl A, give this curve every node there, and this one I just, because it's just a few nodes, just do it by hand. Now with this one I'm not satisfied either, because it has to be or here or here. Yeah, this is better. Of course, and again has to be bendy. So these are just very simple tricks to make something look like it's actually properly highlighted or what. I do the same here. It's a nice addition, nice rendering. Could be 10 times better, but I'm okay with it. Just toned it a bit. Okay. The trousers we do the same. And the other way around. Just make them darker, grayer a bit. These ones actually as well can be a bit darker up here and the darker down here. Nice. Now I just duplicated those, moved them aside, and I made a bit of dark drop shadow with it. And I just put it down. So there is like shadow on the trousers. Good. Just darken it a bit. Okay. Why it is not okay? It's because so this is where we started. Again, I like to go back from the sketch. This is what we have now. Maybe the head of the bird can change a bit. I have an idea. Just looking at my original sketch. I select everything here. I said everything. Just the nodes. I click again and I try to find the center of rotation, which is this little cross here, and I just put it here. Because I liked it better that it was, this bird was screaming. And then now here's a bit bigger gap, so the head of the bird and the wing of the bird is not together so much. Okay, that's okay. Now I just want to get this very simple face of the character, because although what I have is very simple, it seems like it's not looking up at the bird. and looks a bit weird. Bit better. If I say that this is the eye on one side, then here is the other eye, and the bridge of the nose would come around here. These are so tiny details, no one gonna see them, but with these two lines I will draw out the nose. You see, because your eye is following this line. There is nothing there, but it's drawing out the nose so nicely. And this one has to follow the ear. Here on the back I have to fill it up with some dark brown. This one is perfect. And the hair has to be... oh, then actually this one can be also dark green, like the hair. Yeah, it's much more visible this way. And here is a trick I do with the head usually. I make it darker now. I duplicated the base of the head. I made it darker, but not that much darker, I mean. And this is how I will do a very simple shadow. Again, I'm just turning them into curves. Oh, not even, it's even better if I draw them by hand. Because what it does is I have this. And maybe here some on the cheekbone. So let's see if we turn everyone the corners. I have to play with a bit, but not much. Maybe this one I can even remove this little lump here. Yes, you see, it's just a very basic head. I don't want to make anything too much detailed. Okay. I want to close this one off because it looks bad. Just realized it. This would be much better this way to make it like something like a shield. And maybe this one. Oh no, this is fine. That is fine. Okay, what I miss is some fluff. So we will make some very nice fur on his fur coat. And how I will make it is by recognizing that fur for me is looking like cotton candy. So what I will do, I will use the spray tool here. Come on, give me a nice amount. I will use the spray tool here to create some fluffy fur. nice. Also here. And also maybe here. Not there, but it's okay. Because you see, in small size it looks like fur. Now I just add some little more, bit bigger. I know it looks like bubble, but doesn't matter. What we do, we select all of them little bubbles, and with Ctrl plus we add them together, and then again Ctrl plus we add them together. This one we don't need anymore, and here we do the same. Ctrl plus, and we put it behind this one. It is here. This is the arm. I group it up. So we have a nice fur coat. I'm just thinking to pull the colors closer to each other, but it's so hard. And yeah, I will, I think. Because we have so much greenish colors, so I give up and I make the trousers also some kind of green. And then this one can be this dark as well, and go towards the blue a bit. Nice. So this is it. I am adding some more cables here and there, just here hanging. Just give it a stroke, no fill, and I make the stroke size to like 3 or 2 pixels, so they're like hanging wires and stuff. I duplicate it, modify it a bit, and make it a bit darker, so it looks actually nice. And the very dark one, I will duplicate this one, make it smaller, and I make it this dark. And I cut it here because it's not really visible what I do anyway. And to his bag, give him a little bag on his side, turn of stroke, so it seems like the wire is coming from there, and I can add another wire which is actually coming from this slot. So it seems like there is something connecting the guy to the wires. That's good. And yeah, I'm still not satisfied with the face, but I would say the whole thing looks together now, together-ish. And if I check the groups, I have this, and I have the bird. Only this one is not part of the group. Now we're talking. So I have the 3 groups, or actually more, and they nicely put together. They can create this little character. I really hope you liked it. I want to play a bit with it a bit more. It's yeah, it's a challenge to do something like this, that's for sure. What I do is I'm just doing a hexagonal background for him, just the fun of it. I group them up, make them lighter. Just something like this. Just to give it some step, just to give it some weight. And that's it. I think I stop here, or maybe I will fiddle, maybe the final design will be different, but I think it was a very long session, and I hope you watched it from the beginning till the end. And follow me on Facebook and follow me on istvansep.com. Check out my courses below. If you have any questions, let me know. And if you want to, and that's also my message here, if you want to have, you see guys, this is not a big accomplishment. I am not really satisfied with this drawing, but I sat down today and I did. It's very, very hot here. I'm very tired. I just had a big lunch, you know, life goes on. But I sat down and I was doing this challenge for me, and I drew a semi-acceptable robot bird with a quite acceptable robot arm. But what I wanted to say, make your challenge. Go to the character design challenge page on Facebook. Check out every month what is the monthly challenge, what is the task to draw, and then draw it, because this is the only way to develop. I always say there is no magic pill to getting better as a designer. It's about practicing, failing, learning, practicing, failing, learning all the time, and you just get better. And one day you wake up and you realize that people like what you do and you like what you do as well, and that is your goal as a designer. Okay, so it was me, István Szép. If you have any questions, let me know. See you in the next video.